the last few months, Hollywood has been feeling really under the weather. Thousands of screenwriters went on 2 major strikes, organized by the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, and SAG-AFTRA, the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. These are unions, and the goal was to reach a new minimum basic agreement, or an MBA, with the AMPTP, which is the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers. Lots of acronyms I know, but I'm done now. The AMPTP is just all the big entertainment companies and media companies that you know under one umbrella, and that umbrella loves its money. There were a handful of industry-wide concerns that sparked these writer strikes. The top 3 were wages, artificial intelligence, and streaming. Wages are pretty easy to understand. Writers and behind-the-scenes workers have long been looked down upon, and they are often overworked and underpaid. Marvel is an extreme example, but it represents the state of the industry as a whole right now. The finale of She-Hulk broke the fourth wall just to make fun of itself and how poorly planned out the plot was. Side note, being self-aware doesn't justify stupidity, okay?
That's ironic, coming from you.
The visual effects industry is in a similar situation, and I think MODOK from Ant-Man perfectly symbolizes everything that is wrong with entertainment right now. You wanna know the saddest part? Come here. As much as this image strikes sheer fear within my soul, I actually laughed when it showed up. It actually made me feel something. And that was the only time I felt anything throughout that entire movie. That's how bad the writing was, because of how rushed the staff were.
Was it worse than the writing of this script, even though you weren't rushed? So, addressing this crunch culture and undercompensation is understandable. Concerns over AI taking over jobs is scarily relatable right now. The ethics of using a digital replica of an actor's face without their permission or employing various AIs to write an entire throwaway movie are shockingly relevant questions right now.
But that's not the whole story. A long time ago, before this, network television or cable TV was an established business model. Shows were supported by advertisers, seasons had more episodes, and ran through the large part of the year. So writers could have one job for longer, and in the gaps between finishing up a production and finding the next, they received residuals. Residuals are a part of the revenue generated by reruns. For example, if I made a movie called The Slow and the Serious,
people would not watch it in theaters because look at that poster. Anyone with common sense would walk away.
But they might buy it on DVD.
No, they won't.
In a hypothetical situation where people
have bad taste.
Monty, why are you kind of funny?
Then I would strike a deal with paid TV channels to broadcast my movie on cable, until eventually it becomes available to free channels. This is a process called syndication. The writers and all the crew behind the scenes, they get residual checks every time it goes through a step in the process. And the best part, if a movie becomes a hit or a massive success, the residual... And the best part, if my movie became a hit or a success, or blew up in popularity, the residuals that everyone receives would reflect that.
However, with the rise of streaming, TV shows opened up their doors to creativity, as creators didn't have to work around bottlenecks like ad spots in the middle of their episodes, and showrunners got bolder. But then seasons got shorter, and limited series took over. The longevity of screenwriting jobs got significantly smaller, and suddenly writers had to find more jobs to fill out the year, and were left with more gaps in between their gigs. But this time, the residuals barely came through.
You see, with streaming services, residuals are often a one-time fixed payment, regardless of the success of a film or a show. This new business model, by nature, pays its creators less while expecting more. It's like trying to cut a lemon in half and then squeezing twice the juice out of it. That's not how...
That's a really bad analogy.
Remember when the music industry shifted from physical sales to digital distribution, and artists suddenly got paid a fraction of what they used to make? Hollywood is going through a very similar phenomenon right now. Music streaming has evolved to our new subscription-based preferences, and the film and television industries are again simply readjusting to our new ways of consuming content. The WGA strikes ended this September, and the SAG-AFTRA negotiations tentatively reached a conclusion on November 9th of 2023. The gist of the new deal was that wages would gradually increase, and that informed consent and compensation would be necessary when AI or virtual replacements for actors are involved. And of course, better residuals. While it's nowhere close to the monetary heights of traditionally televised content, in the context of the streaming age, the new residual agreement is better. And that's a start. With this whole kerfuffle somewhat coming to a close, projects that were put on pause were finally resumed. Major releases like Dune Part 2 or Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse are rushing back into production. And hopefully, just hopefully, we won't have to deal with a lot more of this. And while the long-term consequences of this historical shift in the industry are yet to be seen, things are getting back on track. And that's a good sign. I'm Ven.
And I'm Mansi.
And we'll be back with Headlines Hiatus sometime in the future.
Not soon.